Imagine a complex machine that powers every thought, movement, and heartbeat. This is your metabolism. It orchestrates the conversion of food into energy, regulates blood sugar, and maintains cellular repair and regeneration. When our metabolic systems work harmoniously, we experience sustained energy, stable mood, healthy body composition, and resilience against disease. But recent decades have seen a dramatic shift. Metabolic health is deteriorating at an alarming rate worldwide. What's driving this collapse? And what can we do about it? Have you noticed how prevalent obesity, type 2 diabetes, fatty liver disease, and hypertension have become? These conditions once predominantly affected older adults, yet they now plague teenagers and young adults too. In the United States alone, over 40% of adults are obese. The global prevalence of type 2 diabetes has quadrupled since 1980. Meanwhile, what was once thought adult-onset diabetes now affects children as young as teens. How did we go from metabolic wellness to a full-blown health crisis in the merely 2 generations? At the heart of a metabolic regulation lies insulin, a hormone secreted by a pancreas that signals cells to absorb glucose from the bloodstream. When insulin receptors on muscle, fat, and the liver cells respond properly, blood sugar remains within a narrow, healthy range. However, cells become less responsive, a condition known as insulin resistance. The pancreas must produce ever greater amounts of insulin to achieve the same effects. Over time, this compensatory mechanism falters. Blood sugar rises. So, why our body is buckling under metabolic strain? The answer is multifaceted. Ultra-processed diets, food engineered for taste, convenience, and shelf stability, laden with refined carbohydrates, added sugars, and industrial fats, drive overconsumption and disrupt hunger and satiety signals. In a controlled study, participants on the ultra-processed diets consume 508 more calories per day and gain nearly 1 kilogram in just 2 weeks, compared to those eating minimally processed foods. Sedentary behavior, desk job, screen time, and urban environments that discourage walking have slashed our daily energy expenditure. Physical inactivity impairs insulin sensitivity and promotes fat accumulation, especially around the abdomen. Sleep deprivation, poor sleep quality, and short sleep duration alter hormonal balance, increasing ghrelin, hunger hormone, and decreasing leptin, satiety hormone, and worsening insulin resistance. Chronic stress, persistent activation of a stress response, elevate cortisol, which raises blood sugar and flavor visceral fat storage. Combine these factors overwhelm our evolutionary adaptation, setting the stage for metabolic collapse. In the early stages, insulin resistance often flies under the radar. You might notice fatigue after meals, mild weight gain, or a difficulty losing weight despite diet and exercise effort. But what does the distant future hold? We know that poorly controlled metabolic dysfunction leads to full-blown type 2 diabetes, kidney disease, neuropathy, and an accelerated aging. Yet predicting individuals' trajectories remain challenging, as the genetic factors, microbiome composition, and environmental exposure modulate disease progression. The first multi-cohort study to follow non-diabetic, insulin-resistant individuals for more than a decade only began in 2020, and the results won't be consultative until 2028 at the earliest. If our modern lifestyle has triggered this collapse, can lifestyle modification restore metabolic health? Evidence suggests yes, but with the caveats. Dietary overhaul, shifting from ultra-processed to minimally processed whole foods, creation of fiber, lean protein, healthy fats, low glycemic carbohydrate, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, and support weight management. Exercise perception. Both aerobic and resistant training enhance glucose uptake in the muscle independent of insulin and boost mitochondrial. Sleep optimization. Targeting 7 to 9 hours of quality of sleep per night helps normalize hunger hormones and improve insulin action. However, implementation is seldom straightforward. Socioeconomic disparities, food deserts, time constraints, and cultural norms all influence individuals' ability to adapt and sustain this change. Moreover, false metabolic dysfunction in advanced medications, such as metformin or GLP-1 receptor agonists, may be necessarily adjuncts to lifestyle interventions. One metabolic health collapse is one of the greatest public health challenges of our time. It stems from a perfect storm of engineered foods, sedentary lifestyles, sleep loss, and chronic stress, factors at odds with our biological design. Yet, we are not powerless, but embracing whole food diets, regular physical activity, quality sleep, and stress reduction, we can restore insulin sensitivity and curb tide of metabolic disease. Policy measures like clear food labeling, urban planning that encourage movement, and access to healthy foods. We amplify individual efforts. Ultimately, resolving this collapse requires a coordinated approach. Individuals reclaiming control of daily habits, healthcare providers prioritizing early detection, and society restructuring system to support metabolic wellness. The road ahead is challenging, but with informed choices and a collective will, we can transform this narrative from inevitable decline to resilient revival.